Welcome to ICA's video channel, taking the message of Jesus Christ to the world. For more information, go to our website at icahk.org.
Now, let me begin with a story. It's about a rabbi and a pastor. They met with a car accident, and it was terrible. Both cars completely destroyed, both cars. And the pastor and the rabbi, they both slowly crawl out from their cars. And the rabbi noticed that the pastor was wearing a clergy collar. And he was so happy, he went up to him and greeted him. "Hello, you must be a pastor. See what happened to our cars, completely demolished and destroyed. And see what happened to us, nothing. And this must be a miracle from God. It is a sign from God that we are meant to be the best of friends. We survived this accident. Let's make peace and shake hands." And the pastor said, "Yes, definitely. It is so obvious. I believe in miracle." And Rabbi quickly said, "See, in my car, there's a bottle of wine. You see, my car is destroyed, but the bottle of wine is still here. This is another miracle." And he said, "You know what? I guess God wants us to celebrate this special occasion of our newfound friendship." And he popped open the wine and gave it to his new friend, the pastor. Pastor drank. He was so happy. He finished half the bottle, gave back to his friend, the rabbi. The rabbi put the cap back again and gave it back to the pastor. Pastor got very surprised. "Aren't you having this?" He said, "No. I guess I'm going to wait for the police to come." Our title today, it is Hello, and it is a powerful word just in case you underestimate this word, hello. You see, in the ancient days, people, do not have many ways to connect or to communicate. Not like us today. We have our snail mail, we have our airmail, we have our emails. So many different ways. And traveling is so easy. It is so easy to connect. But unfortunately, I think all of us here in busy Hong Kong, you and I would agree that we are so disconnected. You can be living under the same roof, attending the same church, work in the same office, live in the same city, but you hardly connect to each other. You hardly see each other. I have so many faces and names that comes into my mind, people I should be connecting and reaching out to, have a cup of coffee and just spend time with one another, and still I fail. And it is kind of like sad. It is sad and very sad, because that is never the idea of God. Today we will talk about relationships within the church, within ICA, this community. You see, friends, it is never God's intention for anyone to be isolated. I know some of us choose to be isolated. It is your own choice, all right? And obviously there are never a good reason. It's always for the wrong reason, because, we got hurt, and etc., bad experience. But I want you to know deep within us there is a cry for relationship. Someone said this: we are created to worship. Okay, I must explain. I'm saying this because, and I'm correcting this phrase because I think there is a misunderstanding. All right? I don't think we are created for worship. We are created to have relationship with God. Because one can worship God without having a relationship with God. If you define worship as coming to church on a Sunday experience like this, spending 15 minutes doing your devotion every day, and worship is just all about singing and attending an event, then we are not created for worship. We're not created for the event. We are created for relationship. Is that correct? Because worship without relationship with God, and it is idolatry. I know it is strong, but for the sake of clarity, it is idolatry. Now, worshiping God without relationship with my brothers and sisters in the church, it is hypocrisy. Again, I know it is a very strong word, but my intention is to bring this to clarity. Okay, because worship is always in the context of relationship. It is always in the context of relationship. Without relationship, there is no worship. All right, I hope you understand this. Okay, the same thing with marriage. Okay, marriage is always in the context of relationship. And you know what it is like when the marriage is there, but there is no relationship. He is not talking. He is not communicating. All right? And that is painful. And for the sake of the singles, I must say to you, just in case you think that because you are single and you're alone, therefore you must be lonely. That is not true. Okay? The word alone and lonely is two different words. Okay? For the singles, I want you to know there are many married couples that are lonely. They are not alone, but they are very lonely. And that is a fact. It's that people are just not saying, they are not honest enough to tell you. There are many lonely people in Hong Kong. There are many lonely people here at ICA. I want us to know that it is God's will and God's intention that we are not only here to worship together, but we're here to fellowship together. All right? And that's the reason for this series. And we want us to just spend time together in community. We call kingdom groups during the week. It is difficult to fellowship here on a Sunday. All right, we have a little bit of fellowship, but the focus is a lot of worship here, focus on the stage. Really, the focus is not with the people. And therefore, we are encouraging you to sign up for the kingdom groups. Now, so coming back to this passage, so Paul in Romans chapter 16, verse 16, turn with me, he gives us the answer to our loneliness. Okay, our loneliness. Marriage is not the answer to loneliness. Marriage is going to make you even more lonely. I'm telling you, I'm serious. I'm frightening some of you here, okay? But that is the truth, okay? So hear from Uncle Edmund, all right? This is the truth, plain truth. Romans 16, verse 16, the answer to loneliness. Paul tells us, greet one another with a holy kiss. All the churches of Christ greet you. It is interesting. When you read this verse, you thought very quickly that Pastor Ed is going to be preaching on kissing. He's going to teach us how to kiss. You are so wrong. The emphasis here, guys, is not on kissing. It is on greetings. Paul here says, greet each other with a holy kiss. This is a greeting verse, not a kissing verse. The emphasis is on the greeting, not the kissing. Now, in fact, if you look from study from verse 3 of Romans chapter 16, 16 of the book of Romans is the last chapter in this epistle. It's a long epistle. It is the longest epistle written by Paul, all right? And where we see a cardinal, we study the cardinal of the Christian faith in the epistle to the Romans. And obviously, usually you think that Paul will be writing the most important part at the beginning of his letter. I think you are wrong. Usually the beginning is only warming up. The most important portion of this letter is found in chapter 16, I believe. He is not saving the least important last, but he's saving the best for last. As much as the doctrinal, the theological part of Romans is important in the first half of this book, but the last half on the pastoral and finally chapter 16, the relational side of this letter is the most important part, I'm telling you. So in verse 3 onwards to verse 16, there is a keyword that is being written and repeated again and again and again, and that word is greet. Greet, G-R-E-E-T. Greet so-and-so, greet so-and-so. 18 times in just 14 verses. There is a lot of greetings. Is it that important, Paul? Is it this important to say hello 18 times? Save your word, Paul. Get to the point. Give us something theology. Give us something ministry. Don't give us a list of names. Nobody is interested. In fact, I disagree. There is so much more that is found here, which I'm going to come to it, all right? These few verses preceding verse 16. My point here is to tell you the point is not kissing, the point is greeting. Greet, 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 and repeat it 18 times.
We hope you enjoyed this sermon preview. The full-length sermon video is available on audio podcast at our website www.icahk.org, or purchase a copy at our online shop.